Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Cryptoware. In this video, this video actually is a continuation of my previous video where we were debugging or we were analyzing a .NET sample. And at that point of time, we performed some static analysis and we did identify a lot of things. At this point, we are going to do some debugging as well. To be honest, debugging takes a lot of time, sometimes 2 hours, 3 hours, depending upon the sample. So, we are going to learn about the approach, and based on the approach learned, that is how you can follow. Now, basic questions are like, why do we need to perform debugging? So, why do we perform debugging is the reason because there's sometimes certain things need to be understood. A lot of times, these samples do not get executed in your sandbox environment, or maybe while debugging or while identifying something, you're not able to see certain things if it is packed, if it is obfuscated. So, at that point of time, debugging plays a very vital role so that you can bypass those restrictions and you can get the actual payload. From the previous video also, we did see that there was a very interesting thing, which is this resource section. And we did observe that. I'll share the link of the video in the description below. So you can check that out. Even here, I am mentioning that this resource section is quite interesting. And we need to see also, we have observed certain things like it is trying to run some scheduled tasks. So we are going to identify what is happening over here. So we'll get started. And before that, we will set some breakpoints. Let's set a breakpoint over here. Even in the previous video, we did set the breakpoint, but for some reason it got removed. I had to reload the sample. Anyway, so let's get started. So we will ask it to stop at the breakpoint. Sorry, entry point. So here you can see all the details. Okay, sorry. So from here also we will have to see all the values what is happening over here. So we'll go to step over and this step has run and the value is user administrator is false over here. So that is fine. We are just seeing that we will get into here what happens. So if it is not an administrator, then it is performing certain things. So it starts some new process. You can click here and see what are the new processes, what is happening. You can quickly go through them all. We'll click on the step over option, run as, and here it moves to some resource set, which is already a breakpoint. Here we have a breakpoint. We'll again step over here. We'll step over here. We'll just remove the breakpoint. Remove the breakpoint from here as well. These were some older breakpoints that were set. And we will keep an eye what is happening. You may also have a look at the process hacker if anything got executed from here. Is everything fine? We can have a look. You can see certain things, some information. We'll quickly step over and it ends. So we do not get anything. We do not even get to the AES decryptor. We do not get inside these things. So something has happened, and since I have, gone through the sample before, so there were already some breakpoints. So what I'll do is I'll remove some of the breakpoints. So I'll delete all breakpoints. Meanwhile, we can check in the process hacker if anything has gotten executed. No, nothing got executed over here. So we will start this again. Entry point. This is where we have reached. Okay. So we'll set a breakpoint over here. It's not required. We are just going gradually. We'll go slowly. Some breakpoints still we would want to set would be here because we want to get to know what the resource is. This string path would be another. Okay. So we'll step over, or we can simply continue. It got executed. Exit. It got exited. Sorry. So process start info, new process. We are getting there. Start process info, and we are again in the project data end app. So we are not able to get to this point. We are not able to go to this string path or if file exists. So now we will understand some beauty of this debugging. So we were doing step over. Now we will do step into. And here the values are something that we can actually edit. And that is how we are going to manipulate the execution of this code. So this time we will step into and we will enter into something else, get current something. Okay. We will step into again. The result is false. Now, if we can go back, if that's possible, huh, is user administrator. So if you remember there, it was asking us like if user is not administrator. Okay. And here it wants to check if the user is administrator. And at that point of time, also, if you remember, it was mentioned as false. So if we start again, and if you do step over, you can see is user administrator is returned as false. We cannot edit it as of now. So I'll reload it again and I'll do step into. Now we need to change the result to true. Okay, let's see if we can change the result to true, then if anything else happens. So it goes there. We'll quickly do step into till we find anything very interesting. We have to keep an eye over here that the result should be true this time, the final result that comes. Okay. So we will quickly do this and it is going to take a lot of time. I could have done this quickly, but anyway, I won't be able to show the entire debugging at this point. So we'll quickly understand the major part over here, the bypasses that we need to do. So, yes, also we can do step over as well so that we can quickly go through this so that we can get to the final one that we observed. The result is true. Now, if we step over again, this is fine. If we step over again, this is fine. Till now, the result is what we see as true. Now, if we step over again, the result turns false. So I'll change it again to true. Okay. And then I'll click on step over. Let's see what happens. Now, step over. We reached to the string path. This is somewhere we were not able to get in there. So we wanted to get in there. So what does this code mean? That if the test dot is user administrator is not true. So if I am not system dot administrator, it will go inside, but somehow it is leading to the end app option, and we are not able to get to this string path. So we will step over, and again the same logic. If file does not exist in the following path, but this file svc host.exe does exist. So if I click on step over, it will check the path over here, and we will again reach to end app. So we have to again bypass this. So we will restart. We will do the same thing that we were doing over here. We will step into, we will change the result to true, step over. The result is true till now. This time the result turned to false. We will change it to true, and we will step over again, and now step over. We reached string path. Now we have to go to the next step, which is if file does not exist. So you can do a lot of things, which I do, which may look like a very uh, person who is very noob to do that, as if you may call. But that is something that I prefer. See, the goal right here is to bypass these things. And if I can bypass it so that I can get into the resource section, then that is the thing that I want to do. So if file exists in the path, so let me see if I'm able to change it. So I'll just change it to svc host1.exe, maybe, and I'll step over, and it moves to this to get the resource. Now, at this point of time, we have to step into, because it is writing all bytes to this path to get the resource. Like there is some kind of write activities happening, not to this part, but that is something is happening. So it is getting the resource from here. Now you have to step into. Here you can see some more interesting thing like new resource manager. Here is another thing which is executing something maybe. And if you successfully go through these three things, it will return test.as decryptor. And the thing that it returns should be the code or anything that is getting injected. So you can step into. So it says that look for me. We will step into again. We'll see runtime assembly. So you can keep doing this till you find something very interesting. So a lot of times you will have to keep doing that. Sometimes step over, sometimes step into, but you will have to keep doing that. And it really took a lot of time, nearly 2 to 3 hours for me to entirely debug the uh, code. So this is the basic approach. So here is the get option. Okay, we will now step into again. It moves to the resource manager. Now we will see what is there. We have not gotten anything yet. And to be honest, it takes a lot of time. It's just not very straightforward. So you will have to do step into to see what is happening so that you can identify these things from here. So as of now, we do not have to change a lot of things. We are just seeing what is happening. We'll gradually step into. So you can look at it here, what is there over here. You can see something. You may not be able to identify, and it's totally fine. It's not necessary to identify each and everything. But this should be the approach to identify what is happening. If I click on this, I'll see some more information related to this string. We are still not sure what is happening. Resource manager. Okay. If you want, you can quickly see what does it mean. Are we getting anything very interesting? Not yet. So we can also keep an eye. We'll just keep looking at the things if we find anything, like anything interesting over here. And that is the main goal of debugging. Of course, it takes a lot of time, but eventually, with patience, you'll be able to identify. Also, in between, if you want, you can do step over so you can, quickly go through the next uh, piece set of code. You do not have to get into each and every function every time. That totally depends that you will be able to identify while analyzing. So you can see some hash table is mentioned over here. We will again go through this to see if anything interesting that has come up yet. So not yet main assembly. We'll step over. We'll keep following. You see there is something get executing assembly. You can see that this is the path to the malicious sample. There is some code, something is happening, system dot reflection, all those things are there. Okay. Apologies if for the background. If you step into again, so we get to the set bytes to the next section. So here you can see some bytes are mentioned, and it says that this item contains more than 10,000 child items. And here you can see some P executable over here. Everything is not loaded yet, maybe, but this is the P file that we have gotten. What you can do is you can right click and you can show in memory window, and here you can see MZ and the entire P file. We can copy and paste it in a separate file, and then maybe we can use that, like we can analyze this file later on. So that's what we can do to analyze these .NET samples. It was pretty straightforward as of now, but it really took me a lot of times initially because I was doing step into at each and every point. And that is the goal of debugging. So you have to bypass certain techniques the way we have bypassed here. You have to find out if there is any shell code or any file that is getting injected, and then you can analyze the next set or the next payload later on. I hope this gives you a good idea of how you can go ahead with the debugging part of a .NET sample. It's not that difficult. And soon we'll come up with more videos. They will be more complicated, but we will definitely try to cover them in the simplest way possible, and we'll also be covering the basics, so it will go all together. Some basics part which may sometimes feel slightly boring, but that's fine, and some advanced part also, so that we can keep the fun intact. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for all your support. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel, and see you in the next video.